Hello, this is AstrologerCoach Sonja Francis, and today we're going to be talking about the upcoming full moon in 25 degrees of Gemini on December 17th at 4:28 a.m. East Coast time in the US, which is also New York time, or 1:28 a.m. West Coast time in the US, which is also LA time. Now, the full moon in Gemini is this is always a relationship-oriented time, especially in Gemini, because Gemini wants to connect, wants to interact, verbally talk, share, and so this is definitely a very relationship-oriented time. It's also an extroverted time. Something comes into our awareness that needs to be expressed, and of course, with Gemini, we're definitely going to be expressing it with words. We're going to be talking about it. Now, the balance here with this full moon has to do with the Gemini-Sagittarius polarity, which means that we need to find a middle path or balance between the part of us that wants to connect on a day-to-day basis, the part of us that's connected to our day-to-day thinking and day-to-day sharing and needing to process information, and the other part of us that is more connected to the bigger picture view of things, that is more connected to our inner wisdom, to our intuition, and to just kind of understanding and knowing things because we've already been through it and we've already experienced it. And we're trying to find the balance between the two. Now, this particular full moon is really a very strong, energetic full moon for several reasons. One of them is that Uranus is stationing to go direct right after the full moon becomes exact, after its 5 months retrograde phase. And so we're really ready to make a giant step forward in our lives to create some change, implement change, and move forward in some way depending on where this is taking place in your chart. Now, if we resist change right now, we're definitely are going to need to change anyways, because change will just come knocking at our doors, and the circumstances of our lives will unfold in such a way that we have to change in some shape, way, or form. So the motto here with Uranus going direct is change or be changed. And of course, this is always your choice, whichever way you want to go. I recommend implementing the changes yourself. That way, it's going to be less of a bumpy ride. Now, anybody who's got an Aquarius sun sign or rising sign will feel this much more stronger, this energy of needing to move forward and needing to make progress in our lives in some way or form. The other part of this full moon that is a very strong message of change as well is the Grand Cross that is going to be in the sky for the next 4 weeks. Mars has moved into Libra, and so it's now starting to oppose Uranus in Aries. It's going to make a square to Pluto in Capricorn, and then eventually will also make a square to Jupiter in Cancer. So we're definitely feeling pulled into all these different directions, all these 4 different directions with these 4 planets. And you know, a lot of these planets are outer planets. So Mars is really the only planet that's sort of like a personal planet. So that's going to be triggering a lot of the outer planet stuff, a lot of the soul stuff, a lot of the evolutionary stuff that we're needing to experience on a soul level. So Mars is sort of triggering and saying, you know, here, let's change something, let's implement some of these challenges so that we can move forward in our lives. Now, the 4 directions that we're being pulled in is relationships, career, family or home life, and also self-identity, what we feel connected to personally, what we feel identified with on a personal level. And so we're going to need to stretch ourselves. We're going to need to create some creative solutions around challenges and problems that are occurring or coming up at this time. We're also going to need to create some balance between some of the oppositions that are happening between the Mars-Uranus opposition, the Pluto-Jupiter opposition that becomes more exact in January. So we're really needing to create some balances here as well. And so we're really being invited to break down some very long-standing patterns that have been in place and really move to the next level of our evolution. One thing that's really going to help us with this energizing time, because this is very energizing, you know, having that many squares and oppositions in a chart, and also all of these being cardinal signs, which are also very energetic oriented signs as well. It's definitely a very energy-oriented full moon in the next 4 weeks. So the one thing that it's going to serve us during these next 4 weeks is really to learn to be very centered and focused within ourselves. So anything that you can do to get very present in the here and now is going to be very helpful. So whether you want to do meditation, or you want to go for walks in nature by yourself, or you want to, you know, do breathing exercises, anything that helps you not to move too much into the past or too much into the future, and just take it one day at a time, is going to be very, very helpful. So we're going to feel this Grand Cross until the end of January, and it's definitely going to be important for us to create some balance and some cooperation with other people in the things that we want to implement and that we want to do in our lives. Now, this could also potentially be a little bit of a destructive period, because with Mars and Pluto being involved and Uranus, there's a lot of energy that's pulling in different directions, and it could be a battle of wills. So if you find yourself challenged in that way, where you're being confronted in a relationship or in a career situation or with family, you know, as best as you can, you know, just stay very present. Get really centered within yourself, and just really ask yourself, what is my role in this, and how can I move to the next level in this situation, in this interaction, in this relationship, so that I can serve myself and the relationship in the best way possible. And this is really always a great question to ask yourself, of course. And if you're not able to do that in the moment, and you know, something does happen that seems destructive or seems challenging at the time, you know, just again, stay present with yourself and go back and see how can you remedy the situation. How can you create a dialogue that helps you take care of you and take care of the other person, or helps you to find creative solutions so that the relationship that you're in, or the situation that you're in, can be remedied in a peaceful way, or in a way that you can come back to the place of cooperation and harmony. Now, the other thing that's happening with this full moon is that the full moon is happening very closely to the galactic center, which is in 27 degrees of Sagittarius. So the Sun will be in 25 degrees of Sagittarius, and Mercury will be very close to that placement as well. So we're definitely getting a supportive energy and supportive downloads at this time from our soul's purpose, or from our soul's higher self, from our higher self and from a soul's place, to let go and release old beliefs that we're no longer needing to carry around, and also releasing anything that is holding us back from realizing our life's purpose from a soul's perspective. So that can be a very powerful, beautiful thing that can happen. The other thing with this full moon is that Venus, which is the planet of love and values and relationships and finances, is going retrograde on December 21st, and will be retrograde until the end of January. And that will happen in 29 degrees of Capricorn. So for those of us who have Taurus or Libra sun sign or rising signs, or those of us who have personal planets in near the 29 degree of Capricorn, we're going to feel that that Venus retrograde quite strongly. And Venus retrograde is usually a time where we get to reevaluate what we want out of our careers, or out of our long-term goals in our lives. We're getting to see, do we really love what we're doing, or is there anything missing, anything that we want or anything that we need to feel a little bit more connected to our long-term goals. The other thing is that we're also needing to check and see what is truly worth our time, energy, and resources at this time. You know, are we putting our money where we want to put it? Are we connected to relationships in our career or in our long-term goals that are really serving us, that are really helping us to build and move forward to where we need to be going? And the Venus retrograde phase is also a great time to take care of unfinished business. So business that has to do especially with finances and relationships in our lives that are connected to anything, any long-term goals. Take care of that during the Venus retrograde is very powerful as well. Now, this full moon is definitely going to be a reminder that change is where it's at, and that we need to create changes in our lives in order to get more fulfilled in our lives, in order to feel more happy, in order to feel more alive, and in order to create freedom, more freedom for everyone on this planet and for the planet itself as well. And so because this full moon is going to be such an energetic time, and is going to be such a challenging time for most of us, we definitely want to remember that this is a time that is helping us evolve. It's helping us move to the next level of our soul's evolution, and it's helping us to make a difference in our own lives, in other people's lives, globally speaking also. So this is a really powerful time that we're entering with this full moon. So take advantage of this powerful energy and really move yourself forwards to the next level. Now, if you have any personal planets or signs, personal planets or points in 23 to 27 degrees of Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, or Pisces, then you're going to feel this full moon more strongly. Personal planets and points are, again, the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And personal points are Ascendant or Rising sign, and the MC, which is the career point on the top of the chart. But also for those of us who have 4 to 17 degrees of personal planets and points in their chart, of Libra, Capricorn, Aries, or Cancer, we're also going to feel a lot of shifts and changes that are connected to this Grand Cross that is starting from the time of the full moon on until the middle of January. So if you have any points or planets in those degrees and those signs of the Grand Cross, then you're feeling that need for evolving and needing to move to the next level, needing to find balance, needing to find creative solutions so you can implement changes and let go of anything that you felt stuck in, or any patterns that are no longer serving you. That will be much stronger for those of you who have those degrees and those signs. Now, if you have any questions about the full moon in general, like general questions, always feel free to reach out and ask. Send me an email to Sonja at AstrologerCoach.com. That's SONJA at AstrologerCoach.com. If you have any personal questions that involve me looking at your chart, then please feel free to reach out for a reading. You can either do a mini reading, which is just 25 minutes, just for 1 or 2 questions that you may have, or you can reach out for a whole life reading or for a New Year's reading, which will be available as well on my website at astrologercoach.com/services.html. And the New Year's reading will be for the whole year of 2014, giving you a little bit of a heads up of what's coming ahead for you for that coming year. All right? So have a fantastic full moon. Remember, this is a relationship-oriented, extroverted time, so get connected with other people and really see if you can implement some of these changes for yourself that are calling to be made in these next 2 weeks to 4 weeks. All right, have a good one. This is Astrologer Coach Sonja Francis. Goodbye.